What's going on, everybody? This is T from Focus Trades, and I wanted to put together a quick video this weekend going over a setup that myself and a lot of members in the Focus Trades team have been trading recently with a lot of success. Now, if you guys, aren't in the Focus Trades group, if you're a new subscriber here on YouTube, I've been trading for the past 10 years or so, full-time for the last 4 or 5, and the biggest benefit that I've had in life was being introduced to the market at a really young age. My dad's a trader, an investor, private money manager. He started teaching me about trading, talking to me about the markets, trading, 10, 12 years old. I really started to get serious and kind of started to fall in love with trading around 14 or 15 years old. So though I'm pretty young still, only 26, my biggest benefit was that I started super young and I was able to throw my heart into the game at a really young age. So I've got a lot of time under my belt, and I started the Focus Trades group not only to share my own personal journey with other traders, but to kind of give other traders the same opportunity that I had as a kid. It's unfortunate that a lot of trading programs right now cost hundreds or thousands of dollars. A 15, 16-year-old kid, or an 18, 20-year-old kid in college, or a new parent, or someone just trying to make, ends meet. Most people don't have that additional income, $100 or $1,000 or $5,000 for some of these courses. I feel blessed that I was given all this information, all this, firsthand guidance from such a young age for free. So I started Focus Trades to offer other traders that same opportunity. So you guys can check out the website. The group is $10 a month. But what we're going to talk about today is a setup that we've been trading a lot lately and really enjoying. So let's go ahead and jump into that here, guys. So the setup we're going to talk about today is the 4-hour 180 setup. And what I mean by that is we're looking at the 4-hour time frame, 4-hour chart, and with the moving average that we're focusing on for this setup is the 180 period simple moving average. So we'll break this down a bit, guys, here. 4-hour time frame, 180 SMA. You can also utilize this on the 195-minute chart, but for the sake of simplicity, we'll break it down here on the 4-hour. So it's a really simple setup that I think new traders and experienced traders can benefit from, beginning to monitor and study and take observations of. So all we're looking for on this setup here is to play breakouts and breakdowns on stocks that are trading around or above this moving average. This is a setup that offers great low risk, high reward entry points. And my favorite part of this trade is that all the variables can be determined before the trade is taken. And what I mean by that is this is the kind of setup that you identify through your evening research, your morning research, running through charts, and it's a setup that once you do identify, the entire game plan is laid out for you. Playing this moving average, it removes so much emotions from the trade because we know exactly where we want to enter. If the trade doesn't work, we know exactly where we're going to get out for that loss, and we know exactly what patience is going to be needed to get the bigger move. Because of this, because of that great low-risk entry that you can get, losses on this setup should be painless. And we'll talk a little bit about that in a second, but the other awesome thing is that this 180 setup offers the potential for various trades off of that moving average. So this week alone, I made about $1,400 trading this setup on Nvidia. I played an initial swing trade, I played a quick breakout play, and I traded a quick support bounce. So when you identify this setup, not only can it offer you a great opportunity, over the course of a week or so, but you may have the opportunity to take multiple trades based around that one moving average. And the reason I say that it's zero emotion, again, is because when you know where you're going to enter a trade, when you already know where you would exit, when all of those things are written out in your notebook, in your game plan, it removes a lot of the emotions that most traders suffer. They question when they should get in. They question when the trade starts to work. Should I take profit? Should I be more patient? Most traders will question when a stock starts to come against them, where should I get out? Where am I wrong? When do I hang this up and move on to the next one? So when you can position size properly, and what I mean by that is as an options trader, you're going to make the most progress, you're going to get the most out of your setups, and you'll be able to begin the process of growing into bigger trades when you start with a level of risk that you are 100% seeing go to zero. If you're putting on $1,000 in your options trades and you're not comfortable losing $500 or even the full $1,000 any given day, then you're trading too big. And that's something we're going to talk about in an upcoming video, but that's the key, guys, to actually give a setup the time it needs, to actually, extract the biggest move out of the setup that you can. You can't be battling the emotions that come with trading with too much size. So this trade should be in a zero motion trade when you position size correctly, when you take that low risk entry that we're going to look at right here, and when you stick to the game plan. And this is one of those trades, everyone is different. And as a full-time trader, all it takes is a few great setups or plays that work for you that you can really utilize in any market environment. And once you find those setups, that's when the fun starts. When you find the 1, 2, or 3 setups, when you got a few setups that work for you, you want to make them your own. Your job then becomes to master those given setups. So a good example of what I mean in the bigger picture where you could end up is, on this setup alone, I closed over $1,700 of profits this week, still trading that small account. So let's just say this is the only setup I traded. If it can bring home close to $2,000 a week, that's $100,000 plus a year from one setup. And as you grow as a trader, and it's a process, journey you have to take, slow steps, but you can reach that point where you have 2, 3 different setups you can deploy in any market, and they're all bringing home close to a few $1,000s a week. That's when life gets really interesting. So let's break down this setup here, guys. So this is the Thinkorswim platform, and this is the 4-hour chart. And this blue line right here is that 180 simple moving average. At the end of the video, I'll show you guys how to add this onto your Thinkorswim platform as well. So we'll start with a simpler example first. And this is a trade that I took and many others in the private group took this week as well. So this trade all starts, guys, with identifying a stock, an ETF, whatever it may be, either trading just above or just below that moving average. So in the case of XLF, we identified this trading right below that moving average. You could tell just by looking at the chart here, that's a clear level of resistance. So we were patiently waiting for a strong breakout above that level. The other thing that we had working in our benefit for this setup this week was that multiple different big name financial stocks were reporting earnings. The day this broke out is the day that Goldman Sachs announced some pretty good earnings. Goldman had a big day, and like we always talk about in our group, if you're a Focus Trades member, you already get this. These are the kinds of moves you want to play. Not just so much that one stock, but the group itself making a move. So with patience, we waited for financials to break above that 180 moving average with some strength, and that's when we took that position. And in terms of the entry, guys, I'll get a little closer here. In terms of the entry on this setup, you have to have some patience. If a move has the potential to go for a mile, you don't need to sweat the very first inches. That's something I like to say. You don't want to try to take your position the very second it begins to tick over that, moving average. You also don't want to be, getting filled, a few percent above the moving average. The whole goal with this trade is to get that happy medium, low risk, potentially high reward entry. Wherever you enter, and again, this all goes back to position sizing, you need to be comfortable with it pulling back a bit to that moving average. If I enter up here, I don't want to take the full ride all the way back down here and then have to close that trade when it falls below here. I get that happy medium entry, and it allows me the patience to let this thing do what it has to do. When I say low risk, high reward, the low risk comes from the entry. If I'm going long right here, and again, if I position size appropriately, if I'm putting a level of risk that I can take on the table, here's the beauty of this trade. Excuse me. If I'm going long right here, this trade is over, this trade fails, if this thing just turns and breaks with some power back to the downside. And I'm not going to wait for it to get down here. I'm not going to hold on to it right here. I'm also not going to exit on that very first tick. Just like my entry, I'm playing a happy medium here. So what I'm trying to say is, I'm pretty much playing this level right here. I'm going long towards the top of that range, and if it doesn't work, I'm only letting it go to down here. With a proper position size, that's not going to be a huge loss on your options. That's the kind of thing to focus on. When you get that ideal entry, it gives you the best of both worlds. I'm buying into a strong move, so I have the potential to catch that nice gain, but because of that good entry, hey, if this doesn't work out, it's going to be a paper cut loss, and we just move on to the next trade. So I had a few different trades on this day. What I was looking for in the financial sector was to take advantage of that breakout, give it a little bit of time, see if that volume came in, and then to take my trade off. So I took my entry. I only had this for about a few hours, but nonetheless, that was one setup this week, one trade, and that one right there was good for, let me see, a 54% return, 53% return on that few hours. That was good for $220. And again, guys, I'm putting $400 to work here, making $200. You need to do that a few times a week to start making some decent money. So not a huge position, but because of the power of that entry, that turned out to be a nice 200 plus bucks. We also took this trade this week in JP Morgan. Now this one required a little bit more patience, but again, here's the beauty of this trade. We're going long on a break above that moving average. At that point, one of two things is going to happen. This sucker is going to make the move you're hoping for, and at some point, based upon whatever criteria you have, you're going to take your profit off the table. Or it doesn't work. And again, position size properly. If it doesn't work, whatever. Not every trade is going to immediately begin to rip in your favor. One thing that a lot of new traders struggle with is holding on to a move that goes through a pullback. One of the worst things you can do is focus on your P&L. At the top of this move, I might have been up, let's say $100, $200. You're seeing that open profit evaporate as it makes that pullback. But here's why you can't focus on the P&L. Despite your profit falling, this setup was completely valid. At no point did it break below that moving average. Based upon the game plan and the structure of what we're looking for here, at no point did this trade fail. Regardless of that pullback, at no point did this fall below that moving average. Most new traders, and even a lot of experienced traders, will get shaken out on that pullback. But I love these kinds of trades because we're playing a line in the sand. These variables are already in our game plan. I don't care if it's pulling back. If it's respecting that level, I have nothing to worry about. And for those who can develop that patience, that pullback can often make that trade more profitable. You see that big bounce on big volume off that moving average, you can buy some more. But nonetheless, I took this off on Friday as I rode through that pullback. Never threatened my situation. It never came towards my stop. The patience paid off. So that wasn't a big trade, but again, that's just one setup. That's one trade. And that one right there was good for 22%, which is good for $100. So again, not a huge trade, but nonetheless, I'm never going to turn down $100. Throw it in the bank. That stuff adds up. So that was the bank move this week. And if you look at, the other financial stocks, this setup was available for all of them. Goldman Sachs has had a beautiful play off that 180 moving average. Bank of America, ripper. Beautiful play off that moving average. There's been a lot of these setups lately, guys, that have presented a lot of opportunities to make big money on a simple setup where all the variables are on paper. Take a look at Boeing. You need one of these a month to make big money. That sucker just ripped. CMG, same setup. It would be the same game plan, the same variables, the same patience, everything. This is why this is a setup that we're focusing on a lot in our private group right now. Amazon. Again, look at this. When you identify the stock below that level, the game plan's on paper. It doesn't get much easier than this. This is why I'm up at 4 or 5 a.m. This is why I'm up late. The days I'm making a few $100. The weeks I'm making a few $1,000. It comes from this preparation. So we'll look at one last trade we took this week, and we can kind of dive into how this one setup presents multiple opportunities. So this is really key here, guys, and I think you guys can all begin to utilize this and have a lot of fun with it. So this week on Nvidia, let's go take a look at that spreadsheet real quick. So this week was a little bit over $2,000 of profit, and just on this one setup, on this one stock, Nvidia, was about $1,400 this week. So, this is kind of how you begin to view your trading as a business. I'm not a trader. I am more so, a trader who has specific setups. This becomes your livelihood. These setups is what becomes to build, your income, your wealth. This is the kind of shit that pumps me up. The 180 simple moving average 4-hour setup is one setup, and I made $1,400 this week trading it on one stock. And I'm not using big money, guys. At no point this week did I have more than $1,000 in any given trade. when you treat it like a business and you take that preparation and you have this structure, these are the kinds of things that are profitable. This is just one setup this week that brought home almost 1,800. So this should motivate the hell out of you guys. So the few different trades I took on Nvidia this week were all based around this moving average. The first setup we took, many on the team took as well, was a strong move above that moving average. So as it's hanging right here, what you're looking for is to kind of gauge the price action. Do we just rip and crank below that moving average and this thing kind of fails? Or do we begin to see some support above that moving average followed by some volume? That's what we were waiting for, and that's what we took. And with patience, you can get that nice low risk, potentially high reward entry. So when we got that bounce just above that moving average, when the buyers came in, I took two different positions. I bought some calls for a bigger picture swing trade that I planned to hold pretty much all week until we got a big move. And I also took a few calls just to day trade. So this is one setup where I took two different positions. Beautiful move here, big volume coming in, super strong move. I sold those calls that I bought for the purpose of a day trade. So I'm still holding my calls for a swing position, but I've just put away, I think it was $350 from that initial burst. And when you position size correctly, it's something we're going to focus on a lot in the group this year, it puts you in a great position. I just put away $350. That might cover the total risk of the swing trade. At this point, it may be a free trade. That's kind of the way I view things. So initial day trade, took those quick profits. I send that $350 to my savings account. Won't see it again. Continue to hold that swing position. And again, guys, it pulled back. A lot of traders aren't going to sit through that pullback. They're staring at their P&L every second. And as soon as they see, their $200 profit go to 150, 100, 70, they freak out and they get out. But at no point this week did Nvidia threaten that moving average. In terms of tech stocks this week, this was the setup. This was the best, in my opinion. In my opinion, this was the best low risk, potentially high reward setup in Nvidia. And anyone who just monitors this setup could have gotten it. Anyone who does the homework and does the preparation and takes their notes and gets ready could have identified this. But the difference between the traders who may have gotten a decent profit and those who caught the move, the difference between those traders, the ones who got a little bit and the ones who caught the whole move for the week there, are the ones who have the discipline and the patience to stick to the game plan. Focusing on the price action, the chart, and not your P&L is what's going to allow you to catch one of these a week. I'm still trading small size, guys, to just prove to the Focus Trades team that you don't need a big account to make big money. I started an account with about $2,500 on the 10th of December, and this week that account may reach upwards of 15 grand. I'm going to switch over to bigger capital soon, but these are the kinds of setups that just offer such good opportunity. Anyone can nail these with the preparation. So initial day trade, we put $350 to the safe real quick, continuing to hold that swing position. Now, as this is pulling back, I'm prepared for one or two things. I'm prepared for this to fail and dip below that moving average, where I would at some point take that off for a loss. But because I now know that this could be a level of support, I'm also looking for buyers to come in and start another rally to the upside. If I can get another low risk, potentially high reward entry, I'm going to buy some more calls. So that is exactly what we got here. It leaked, and finally that volume came back in. I was able to buy some more calls right around this range right here. I treated those particular calls as a bounce play. It came down here, you get that big tail, the buyers came in. I got no problem buying some more calls, playing that risk reward right there. That situation worked out. It popped from there. I sold the position that I bought for the support play, put some more money in the safe. And now I'm still holding those original calls for that bigger picture push. Friday morning, market opened up, things were a bit shaky, and then the money just started pouring into Nvidia. That's the move I was looking for. Despite the breakout play, the support play, as a general statement, that's the move I was looking to play this week. That move right there. And it took all week to get it, but with patience, and again, I was never in trouble. Based upon the game plan of this setup, guys, there's never a reason for me to get out. Not at any point. Not at any damn point. And then we finally got the move we were looking for. So that was the one that brought home a nice profit. And that position for the swing was $855, and it was a 72% return. So on those different trades, that was $1,400 this week from Nvidia, $200 from the quick XLF trade, and another $100 from JPM. So the finance move brought in about $300 plus, and the Nvidia move brought in about $1,400. This is a setup that I'm going to continue to focus on heavily with the Focus Trades team because of all these variables. Whether you've been trading for a few months or a few years, this trade has the variables that you can easily begin to monitor and utilize. You know the entry points, you know the exit points, and then if you can have your game plan and a discipline to stick to the game plan, you may catch one of these a week. And as you grow as a trader, it doesn't take much capital, guys, for one of these trades to start being few thousand bucks a week. You know, this is full-time trading. This is treating your trading like a business. I started Focus Trades to share these kinds of things with you guys. Me posting my profits and all that things like that, it doesn't do anybody any good. But you know, when the whole Focus Trades team can meet up at 8:30 in the morning and we're going over these setups an hour before the market opens, and then we're all discussing them and taking it in our own individual ways live during the chat room, that's what it's all about to me, guys. So that's the 4-hour setup on Thinkorswim using that 180 simple moving average. And for those of you who want to begin to look at this, you're going to go to Studies, Quick Study. You're going to come over here to Moving Averages, Simple Moving Average, and by default, it's going to throw up this one. So you want to double click that. And then here where it says length, you go make that bad boy 180. I like the little dots. And that's it, guys. There you go. So that's the 180 simple moving average 4-hour setup. Had a lot of fun trading it this week, and I'm already beginning the process of finding more setups like this for our team to attack this week. All right, guys, and if you're not already a Focus Trades member, I highly suggest you check it out. Next month, early February, we're going to have a 6 weeks online options course where we're going to jump into the basics, the daily routines, and my personal trades and setups that I utilize on a weekly basis to make my living. Now, this course is free to all Focus Trades members. So if you guys aren't in the group yet, it's $10 a month. That gives you access to all the private videos, the trading tools, our private chat room, and most importantly, it gives you access to the private morning trade prep live streams. That's where we meet up as a team, we go over these setups, we go over the bigger picture of the market, put together a game plan for that session, and then in the chat room, we're constantly in discussion going over the setups. I'm proud of how a lot of the guys and girls traded JPM this week. A lot of us traded XLF awesome, and I know a handful of us killed Nvidia in multiple different ways this week. So the preparation does pay. So if you guys haven't already, you can click the link below in the description here, check out the team, and again, $10 a month, guys. I just want to show you, you don't need big money to make big money trading stocks. You need the solid foundation, the understanding of what the hell the market actually is, and then you begin the slow process of finding the setups that work for you and then slowly beginning to master them and slowly beginning to get bigger and bigger in those trades. Trading is not a make money quick thing. You're not going to jump in and start making money quick, but I can promise you guys, you throw your heart into this and it can do amazing things for you. There's nothing on earth I will ever or would rather ever do for a living. I get to trade every day in my pajamas, in my home office, with my puppy. No amount of money in the world could ever replace that. So if you've been considering or wanting to learn about trading, guys, you can check out Focus Trades or hit me up on Instagram. Shoot me a DM and I'd be more than happy to send over a bunch of free materials, some PDFs, some videos to help you get your trading journey started. Have a good weekend, guys.